Going to a private clinic, of course, you're gonna have to pay. But I learned that they don't give it in private hospitals
Exactly.
except
Should it
government.
be
So I'm
given to
surprised.
private? Should it be given to private hospitals
No, it's government hospital, but you can run your test in
in a
private
private
clinic, and
hospital?
I think that costs more. I think the vaccine is free. Basically, it's
Yeah,
free.
it's free.
So the test and all is you can run it somewhere
That
else.
if you now decide to go to a private university and the private hospital, that's
Hospital.
your choice.
But I'm not
They
sure. I'm not sure the vaccines
are available to them.
yes. You can run your COVID test there. But the story is right on page 6 of the Blueprint newspaper. Federal government approves 4 billion naira to fuel police vehicles nationwide.
It's
Hey,
needed though.
not the one that you call them for emergency and they will tell you there's no
There's no
fuel.
fear.
Like the case of this student, this futa
Yeah.
student that died. I mean, they
The
got to the gate like
accidents.
4 ambulances, no fuel in the vehicles. Why? How? So now that we know
They
4
found a
billion naira,
solution.
it's a lot, and I don't know where they go to because you just see them
Or
patrolling.
pursuing people's cars.
I think they they need to give them a breakdown of their job. Maybe they know and they're just not paying much attention to
Attention.
what they are meant to do and leaving what they are meant to do undone, facing what they are not even meant to
Yeah.
do. Well, the writer under that says hint on reforms to boost personal competence. It's quite tiny. Okay, well, the story is on page 5 of the Blueprint newspaper. Over 1,000 Boko Haram ISWAP members surrender. God is catching. Our
Hallelujah.
prayer, oh my God, our prayer is working.
And fasting.
Yes.
And vigils.
Yes. All right, banditry core members not deployed to 11 Niger local government areas. Core members not deployed to 11 Niger local government areas. Wow.
Why?
Well, the story is on page 15 on the Blueprint newspaper. Benue, Ebonyi communities land dispute dame's mother and 3 kids. The story is right on page 9 of the Blueprint newspaper. And lastly, sanctions against hearing engineers should be regular, says Fashola. And the story is right on page 22 of the Blueprint newspaper.
All right, with me here I have the Daily Asset newspaper, and at the very top of the page you see federal government generates 1 trillion naira VAT in 6 months. NBS. I don't know if this story should be a thing of joy. I don't know if I should be happy about it. I'm indifferent because we all know that things got more expensive during the last
Yes,
6 months,
yes.
and obviously when things get expensive, the VAT increases, so the government will make more. Now my problem is people could not afford most of the things that were increased and salaries still remain the same. So I don't know if I should
Some
be
are even
happy.
some companies have reduced the salaries of their
Yes, because
staffs.
of the price of things that they produce. So I don't know if I should be happy about this particular news, but you can get more on the story on page 2 of the Daily Asset newspaper. I have no plan to join APC, says Autumn. And you can continue more on the story. I guess there is no page, but you can look for it.
Okay, it's on page 2.
Okay, I think it's on page 2. Yeah, on page 2 of the Daily Asset newspaper. And we see just there's a picture at the center. Says President, National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria, Professor Musa, presenting award of excellence to the Deputy Governor of Kaduna State, Dr. Hadiza, during the opening of the 15th Annual Scientific Conference and All Fellows Congress of the college yesterday. And just below that, you see NDDC Forensic Audit Report now ready. We'll be happy to read that report. And just below that, you see flood kills 8, destroys 180 million naira property in Bauchi. You can continue reading more on page 2 of the Daily Asset newspaper. Taraba among states with highest out of school children. Highest out of school children. A sad one. You can continue reading more on the story on page 7. Niger investment in education yielding results. A very happy story. You can read more on page 7 of the Daily Asset newspaper. Makinde challenges Muslims to emulate Prophet Muhammad. You can read more on the story on page 10 of the Daily Asset newspaper. Assault. Federal government recalls Nigerian envoy from Indonesia. They've
Yes.
asked her to come back home instead of staying over there and getting assaulted. So the federal government has asked her to come back home. And you can continue more on the story. I think it's on, is it page 4? Sorry, there's no page number here. Then
The
at
story
the
is on the
bottom
front page.
yes, on the front page, I guess. At the very bottom of the page, military averts bloody clash. 10 sustained injuries in Plateau State. And you can continue reading more on the story on page 4 of the Daily Asset newspaper. And that is all I have.
All right, quickly because of our time, I'll take the New Telegraph. VAT, federal government rakes in 11 billion naira from banks, and the rider under that says lenders' contributions rise by 134%, net 512.25 billion naira in the second quarter of 2021. Will appeal Rivers Court judgment on tax collection FIRS. The story is right on page 3. Dangote only Nigerian on Bloomberg's billionaires list. Well, that's like it's stopping all the newspapers. I said the declaration EFCC grills ex-Bayelsa governor Dixon, and the story is on page 2. Negotiate with state governments for your welfare. APC governor tells resident doctors. Excuse me? Well, the story is on page 3. I'm sure it must interest you to want to read. Boldly written on the front page, PDP crisis, Seconder stays, has party holds convention in October. National chair has sold PDP to Tinubu, says Bode George. APC not a political party, says Tambua. What then? Well, interesting. But it's right on page 2 and page 26 of the New Telegraph. Lagos Airport to rake in 30 billion naira yearly from concession minister. And the right under that says federal government plans rail link for terminals. And its story is on page 4. At the very bottom, don't mix COVID-19 vaccine brands, says federal government. Like we said earlier, you don't have to mix them. I mean,
conscious of what you are being given.
Has 176,000 Johnson and Johnson shots arrived today. Government extends second batch jabs to August 19. Disburses 502.3 billion naira intervention funds. And the very, very bottom is it's an health issue study. Depression rates among youth rising globally. You can continue reading that on page 8 of the New Telegraph. Okay, I think that will be all we can take today on the newspaper review. Thank you for being a part of the show. It's been an amazing time with you. Newspaper review comes up every day from hours of 9:30 to 10 a.m. here on Lagoon Radio, your number one online gospel radio station, powered by the Diocese of Lagos Anglican Communion. You can like and follow us on Facebook at Lagoon Radio Nigeria, on Instagram at Lagoonradio.Ng. Coming right after now is the Moment of Truth by the Venerable Henry Adelegon. My name is Taiwo Adiola Shabilebe, and my co-host
Favor on Sachi.
And thank you to my my beautiful people in the house. Bosse, Covenant, and Muyosore, the lady in red. Thank you very much, and keep listening to Lagoon Radio. Bye for now.
You are listening to Lagoon Radio.